listening to You've Got 5 Options show, where every week Marta and Anna abandon their 5 children, 2 partners, and 1 cat to make a show especially for you. An artist, a challenge, a bullshit, a wisdom, and a surprise. Tune in and feel the magic of 5.
I'm not sure if we can call it friendship yet, although we have, connected on Facebook. That's a big milestone, and we see each other regularly, mostly because you have no choice. But I don't know. It's like Dennis is definitely also one of those things that allow me to meet Danes better, and I like it. How do you feel with that?
I'm just stuck on how surprised you sounded when you thought that I was cool.
Now, of course, you are cool. You are a musician. They are cool by definition. But I don't know. Maybe the feeling is mutual. Maybe you also learned something new about Poles that you didn't know, or actually we are not so crazy as you thought. I don't know.
We are crazier.
We are quite crazy.
You're just humans. I mean, you come from Poland, but it's not a program about Poland. So I don't know if I've learned much about Poland, but I've learned a lot about you two.
And I think that's the key. If you start to make more personal relations, instead of seeing Danes as Danes, but actually meet Dennis, who is a Dane, and you start to have a normal, colleague or friendship relationship, you start to realize, okay, this is a human. Like he realized about us. Thank you, Dennis. We are humans, exactly. And I think that this is the key. And I know that here Viga wrote close to 0 to get a Danish friend, yet it is possible. I think Anatoly mentioned once or twice that in Denmark you have to make an effort to integrate or to meet Danish people, which is quite different than many other cultures that are more relaxed, and when you can basically just have a friend walking on the street, like in Latin countries, when everyone is so open. But you have to make an effort, and I think that's the difference and the key. And so basically, this is what helped me to learn more about Denmark, like Denmark more, and understand it. So actually meet people, not just think about Danes as a nation, but to meet Danes personally.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned through our different programs was that, and also through experience, now I've been here for 11 years, is that Danish people, they take friendship very seriously. So it's about getting through that initial phase of, is it really worthwhile becoming friends? Are you going to be staying here? Because once you become a real true friend with a Danish person, it's kind of a commitment. So can you confirm that, Dennis? Am I not making overstatements here?
No, I don't think you are. There's a very sharp distinction between an acquaintance and a friend. And if you call someone a friend, it's almost like a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, so understanding this, that becoming a friend here is a lifelong commitment, to me, it explained a lot.
Yeah.
And is it difficult to make friends here? Yes, it is. Is it worthwhile trying? Yes, it is. So it's about, for you, Vega, do you want to make Danish friends? You might need to make some extra effort than in many other different countries. Yet it is worthwhile, the effort. So just a little, I will include in the show notes all the links to the articles, where there is also quite some good tips on how to meet Danes and how to make friends. But for now, I would like to ask you, Dennis, to move on to a little break, listen to a little bit of music, and let's go for the artist of the week.
Superman Music brings to you Artist of the Week.
So guys, we have a little musical break, and that is because we cannot just challenge the entire hour. And we actually have a fantastic piece of music today. I think I've mentioned that in our season premiere show. I think I did. And if I didn't, then now you will know that we have made some effort to basically bring more independent music to our radio program. There is a group on Facebook called Musicians in Aarhus. For the time being, I only found a group like this in Aarhus, and we have posted an announcement that we would like to feature independent artists from around, and they should send their songs basically to Dave. It's because I really don't have time or energy to explain that the file has to be in some special format or what is wrong with this or that. So Dave is taking care of the selection. And I will also leave all the information in the show notes of this program, so you can see how can you send a song to our show. So far, we have 12 songs in a queue, which is quite amazing. And I will tell you something, guys. I'm quite blown away because many of those songs I would expect to hear on the radio already.
We are on the radio, so that's a good
Already,
place.
yeah. That's a good place. Although, of course, we have a limited spread because we cover only Aarhus. If you listen to us on FM, but if you listen to us on internet, then of course it's global, and then of course it's also podcast. But guys, today we are featuring Gregory Boyd, and he has prepared not only a song but also introduction. So without further ado, we will hear how Gregory talks about himself and his music, and then we will listen to his lovely song, Beating on a Drum.
My name is Gregory Boyd. I play steel pans, electric acoustic steel pans, which is, I dare say it's an innovation of mine. You know, there's other guys that have done it and other ladies that have done it, certainly, but I'm adding to that legacy, if you will, and just electrifying the instrument because I believe in its potential, you know. I started playing drums when I was a kid. My dad, he had these pots and pans he would bring out of the kitchen. And he would bring them into the front room, and he would bring all kinds of wooden sticks, and we'd sit us around, and he'd say, boy, come here for a minute, let me show you something. And he just would start jamming. And I'm just like, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. Then I joined him, we started jamming together, and we started doing these little songs and stuff. It was so cool. Then one day I thought, you know what? I got to play drums. So I asked my father for some drums. You know, we couldn't really afford a full drum set or anything. But one Christmas, and I remember this, 1977. I know it put him back some paychecks, but he bought me a nice snare drum. And I mean, I took that snare drum to school every day and practiced it every day. I started playing drums, you know, and it's wonderful. Went through school, and you know, we had these school programs with music and everything, so I played drums. Then I got out of school and wanted to join the Navy. I joined the Navy and wanted to join the Navy band, and they had a steel drum band. So I auditioned about 5 times to get into the Navy band. Finally made it and got into the steel drum band. And I said, you know what? I got to write songs. So I started writing songs. And I was lucky because I was living in New Orleans, and I started hooking up with all these New Orleanians, Charmaine Neville and Charles Neville and Cyril Neville, all the Neville brothers, you know, and then John Cleary and Dr. John and you name it. Everybody who's somebody in New Orleans, I luckily became friends with and started gigging and playing, and, you know, and I just basically learned how to be a performer from that situation, because the best of the best, in my opinion, performers in the business really lived or came from New Orleans. And so I was right there amongst them, you know. Just like, if people believe in blessings, I believe in blessings. I believe in things that happen for a blessed reason, you know. And I think that was a massive blessing. So I just started playing pans, you know, and started singing. And I've been doing it ever since. Hope you enjoy this song. It's called Beating on a Drum. It just feels like I'm always on the run, yeah. And everyone here is trying to get them some. I might not be qualified. At least that's what they say. But I'm the man, you're the ears, and we gonna do this thing my way. You see, there ain't nothing like beating on a drum. Everybody can dig the damn one and play it loud. Just play it loud. Just play it loud, 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 loud. Just play it loud. Ain't nothing like beating on a drum. Everybody here should get on one and play it loud. Oh, just play it loud. Ain't nothing like beating on a drum. Everybody here should get on one and play it loud. Oh, loud. Oh, play it loud. Oh, I'm getting killed in this corner. Oh, I'm getting raped over here. Oh, I'm getting taken down here. Oh, don't you hear my fear? Oh, loud. Just play it loud. Ooh, don't you care to care now? Oh, what's happening to me? Oh, you knocked me down once. Oh, you set me free. Oh, I'm getting up. Well, I'm getting up. Oh, I'm getting up. So play it now. Oh, now. Well, play it now. Play funky out. Keep fucking out. Take it down low.
It's quite amazing. I actually would like to say, Gregory, I am very confused why you are not an international star yet, but hopefully after this, you will become. No, really fantastic. I like the
And
song.
take us with you.
Yeah, take us with you. We can actually play a bit on the drums. We can learn. Marta is now learning keyboard, so and I am looking at the guitar quite a lot, just watching. But that also counts. So Gregory, fantastic song. Thank you very much for sending it, and I definitely am listening to it at home, because it's a really great piece of music and great piece of production, and you wrote it by yourself and you performed it by yourself. Way to go. Fantastic.
Yes, thank you, Gregory. And now coming back to our challenge from Viga, who finds it very difficult to adapt here in Denmark and has been facing some hostility and is not planning to leave from Denmark yet and would like to know how to make that stay more pleasant. And now we are at option 3, which is find the things you like and you are grateful for. And there is a really cool thing about gratitude, and it is that when you are in a state of gratitude, it's simply impossible to feel crappy. It's one of these high-level emotions that when you are really grateful, you just can't feel shitty at the same time.
It's the same like blowing bubbles. That's the alternative. Try to blow bubbles and be still angry. It's impossible. Just I dare you, not only you, Vega, but also other people. Try to stay angry while blowing bubbles.
Yeah, that's a good dare. And I actually will have a challenge for you, Vega, as well. But first of all, I would like to tell you that, especially when we are feeling like homesick and we feel like we are not really adapting well in the environment we are in, we start to focus on the negative because we are not feeling well. So it's much easier to see all the negative around us. And that's why I'm proposing this little exercise to, from now on, spend 30 days only looking for things you like and you are grateful for in Denmark and parking all the things you dislike. Just simply stop complaining for 30 days. Complaining is not allowed, and you are for 30 days looking for all the good things, all the good stuff in Denmark. What do you guys think about my challenge?
It sounds very healthy.
Dennis, do you think you would be able to complete the challenge?
To not complain for 30 days?
Yeah.
About
No.
Denmark.
About Denmark?
Yeah, it's only about it's not general not complaining. I mean, it's great. It's transformationary if we stop complaining in general. But Vega, I'm complaining. I'm proposing not complaining about Denmark, not focusing on all the stuff, all the bad stuff, on all the beaming hostility and racism, but concentrate on all the cool stuff. Every day find at least one new thing that you consider really cool in this country.
Or at least positive.
Well,
Yeah. Or at least
focus
positive.
on what you have in common. What's positive? What's good about it? Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
And now a question to you guys. Just to start Vega off a little bit and help him or her. What are the things you like, the 3 things you like most about Denmark? And let's go with Dennis. You must like something about your country. Come on. Just if you could see the camera, Dennis was also very confused and surprised.
That's very hard to answer because I've never lived anywhere else. So for me, this is standard. This is
Normal.
yeah. I really haven't thought about that.
Okay, so you get a moment to think about
Thank
it,
you.
and then Anna, you would think that
Thank
it's
you.
easier to think about what's cool about your own country, but let's give Dennis a moment.
Yeah,
Anna,
thank
what-
you, and I'm not coming back, right?
What do you like or what you are grateful for in Denmark? 3 things.
I'm not sure if I can say that those are my 3 favorite things, but I will just say what came to my mind. And number 1, it's actually Danish sense of humor that I really appreciate. It's a bit sarcastic and snarky, and I like that. I also like the fact that in Denmark, not many people, and I talk about people, not kommune or governments, I talk about people give you a lot of space. So there is no that kind of, pushing nose into not your own business. Like in Poland, many times you can be criticized for something by a stranger on a street because he has an opinion. Here in Denmark, I have not met that. So I really appreciate that. And what else? From 3 things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that this is actually relatively a stable and supportive country, even for foreigners who have earned their right by paying taxes for years to actually have some sort of security once the times get rough. I actually have a 4th thing. It's relatively easy to raise children here as well. I could actually continue. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Dennis, has something come to your mind in the meantime? What do you like about your own country?
Fleska style.
Yeah. The food, not so much. I mean, you can get a lot better food many other places, many other countries. But I really like the way that we all have an opportunity. We can get any education we want. We can do anything we want if we put our minds to it. That spells freedom a lot to me. That if I have the skills, I can become a doctor. I don't have to have a big pile of money to pay for college.
Yeah, education is for free.
Education is for free. Hospitals are for free. That security, that sense of security that I never have to worry about getting sick. Because if I do, I will go to the hospital and they will treat me. They will cure me if they can, and I will never have to worry about paying for it. So I'm free to pursue whatever goal I set myself knowing that if I fall, I won't die from that. That's a thing I like.
Those are actually three things, and they are fantastic things indeed.
Yeah, I will add a little bit from me. And for me, what I have, there is a lot of things I like from Denmark. And I could also continue. But like what I'm most grateful for here, and that's also very close to the reason why I am here, it is because it's a very family-friendly country. So that's the first thing. Very family-friendly country, very supportive of raising children. Second thing, it's really nice and green in summertime because the country is quite wet as well. It rains a lot. It's very green. There are some countries, they become quite, dry. But in Denmark, it's really beautiful. It's really nicely green in summertime and full of light. And recently, the nature has been a big deal for me. So that's what I started to put my attention to. And the third thing is very similar to what you have mentioned, Anna, about having that personal space, that people are not invasive. Yeah. So that people in general mind their own business. And that would be the three things. And we will move on to the option number 4, which is influence what you can and embrace the rest. So, of course, Vega, there are things that you can influence in life, and there are things which you cannot influence in life. And concentrating, putting your focus on the things that you can't change, obsessing about them and feeling bad about them is kind of, counterproductive. It's kind of like shooting your own foot or shooting your own knee, depending the country you come from. That could be a different version of what you're shooting to, right?
That's correct.
Because I think in England it's one and in Poland it's another. Or in English and in Polish it's another piece of leg that you shoot into. And that's kind of like, think about it, what it is that you really can influence. And I have prepared a couple of things, like food for thought of the things I believe I can influence myself when it comes to how I feel in Denmark. So what I believe that I can influence is how I feel about Danes and being in Denmark. So that's something that is up to me. It's not the Danish people who decide how I feel here. It's actually my decision, how I feel. So that's something I can influence. My feelings are under my span of control. Second thing is actually getting Danish friends. It might be difficult. It is considered to be difficult. And
I would even say it's an extreme sport in Denmark.
And you might need to get them in a Danish way, meaning approaching getting friends the same as Danes approach getting Danish friends, but it is still under your span of control. This is something that you can influence. You can make or join initiatives that bring foreigners and Danes closer. And because you've mentioned about this, as you perceive it as Danes are afraid of us foreigners and you have experienced the silent hostility, you can be a part of an organization that is closing those gaps. There are organizations like that, and Judy, one of our previous guests, she's now a part of such an organization. So I will include the name of the organization in the show notes, because you could be one person with the mission of closing those gaps. And use your creativity to build those bridges and to getting a job and so on. Whenever it is difficult somewhere with something, you always get a chance of using your creativity in order to make things work. Because that's one of the things where Vega has mentioned that it's, for example, very difficult to get a job, it's difficult to get friends. What do you guys think about my input of what is under?
Can you tell me what is the 5th option? Because I don't know if I have, if I can fit this into this or actually on
the last option is make it as pleasant as you possibly can.
Oh, okay. So maybe I will say it here about the influence, right? So we are advising you, Vega, to influence what you can change. There is one thing that is in my head since we started to record this program, and this is it could be that you are seeing this from one side only. It could be that you have experienced some things that we don't know about, because you have this feeling that they are beaming with silent racism. They will not insult you, but they won't see you as equal. They are looking at you funny, and so on. We don't know what nationality you are. We don't know what race you are. That could be a contributing factor, because some people say they feel different based on the nationality they are from. But I want to remind you one thing, and this is something you can influence. When you are referring to a group of people or a nation by they do this, they do that, you unfortunately generalize entire population of Denmark into one mold. And that is unfair. Unfair towards yourself mostly, because then you are basically taking away from yourself a chance to realize that here there is plenty of humans. And I will just mention something. Yesterday on Facebook, I've seen someone sharing something to a Polish group in Denmark. I actually am not really on that group. It was an article that was written by BT. BT is not really like a super magazine. It's some kind of gossip, right? Tabloid. What is BT?
It's somewhere between tabloid and newspaper.
Yes. So basically it was written that a lot of Poles and Romanians are using a gap in law, and they are taking their daupeng to their countries, and they are using it there to live like kings, and then they are coming back and something. And I read this article, and it was not correct according to the law. This is not exactly how it happens, but it was overreacted because it was supposed to build some sort of emotions. And then I saw all the Danish comments. First of all, of course, those parasites versus we are idiots that we allow it. If I will base all of my opinion about Danish people on the section comment, where there were 45 Danes talking there and none of them were really positive about Poles or Romanians, then I would say this country is so racist. They don't understand how this law works. It's not that anyone can get this money. It's you have to fulfill requirements. You can argue that endlessly. And then I thought, wait a moment. First of all, this is 45 people on Facebook. This is not entire Denmark. And this is the whole thing. You can basically think about Danes as humans, as individuals. And trust me, if you will make an effort and look around, you will find Danes that are humans that are not representing the silent racism. There is so many Danes who are trying to meet internationals. There are, Marta, as you mentioned, those Danish international societies. They are curious about the cuisine, about the culture. There is so many people here in Denmark who actually have spouses. Sorry, I think I have to finish. I was just trying to
Thank you, Anna. Unfortunately, there will be no commentary because we are closing the show soon. So we will just go into the last option, which is make it as pleasant as you possibly can. And how do you make your stay more pleasant? What makes life pleasant for you, Vega? That's the question for you, because that's the only thing that you can do. You can do more of that. So if you want to have a more pleasant life, you do more of the stuff that you love doing. So just answer the question. What do you love doing? What brings you pleasure? How do you like spending your time? And then, well, you can try doing that together with Danes. And you can join some clubs which have the same common interest. And that's one of the main ways to make friends in Denmark, by common interest. And if it's not feasible for you, maybe you don't speak any Danish at all, then you can do it with fellow internationals. So you can definitely make it more pleasant here. You just need to find out what it is that makes your life more pleasant. And Dennis, are we cutting off right now, or do we have a minute or something?
Something like 10 seconds.
Something like 10 seconds.
Yeah. But Marta, I discovered that we can definitely talk over our outro until almost the end. So don't worry, continue.
Okay, I will try not to be worried. So thank you and good luck and have fun and open up and enjoy your stay in Denmark, Vega.